Cool. So, hi everybody. I'm Anthony. Thanks for having me. It's great being here with you guys. Today, I want to talk about informational interviews. And I know that some of us have had a hard time finding a job, and I have too, so I know what you mean. But first of all, by show of hands, does anyone know what an informational interview is? Cool. Awesome. Nikki, can you tell me real fast what that might be? There's interaction there. There's interaction.
So you go into a company asking for an informational interview, which is like an interview for a job, but without actually going in for a job. So you're just learning more about the company, having an opportunity to practice your skills, an opportunity to meet with professional
Absolutely.
folks.
Yes, totally. Kind of more simply put, an informational interview is just a meeting between two people, one being a professional of a certain industry or a company, and the other person being someone who wants to kind of get the foot in the door with that company or industry, you know. And that's kind of assuming that you don't really know a lot about it, and it's not a job interview, like Nikki was saying, it's more about information about the company or the industry. So I'll pause, I'm going to come back to that real fast. So first of all, I wanted to talk about a very common way people typically get jobs, you know, and I'm sure that you've done it, I've done it a lot. It's the whole, like, you apply to everything you can, and hopefully you get a job back, you know. Has anyone ever done that before? No, I have, definitely. Cool. Question, has that ever worked for you guys? Have you guys ever gotten a job that way, actually gotten a job? Nobody? Because I have, actually. Well, maybe that's just me. So, okay, the point being, it's not that effective, you know. So, like, I think one time it worked for me, I applied to, like, some random restaurant, like, a few years ago, and I didn't know anybody, and I got the job, so that was pretty unlikely, you know. I was really shocked. So, that way it doesn't really work that well, as you guys all know. I've tried it a lot, just, you know, and I think people kind of equate their job searching success to, like, how many applications they put through a day, you know. Like, I did 20 today, great, you know, like, it was for, one was for construction and the other was for accounting, but I mean, I hope I get a job, you know. So that doesn't really work out. And I actually did some research about it, and I was looking into kind of like your average corporate business level job. Guess how many applications go into like one job opening there? I just want to know. Can you guys guess some numbers?
Hundreds.
200.
250 was the number I found. Isn't that crazy? That's ridiculous. There's no way you're gonna get that job that way, you know. So, not impossible. I mean, I'm sure people you know have gotten jobs that way. I have once or twice, but it's not that effective, you know. So, back to informational interviews. So, like I said, it's just a meeting where you're talking about information of like the company or the business, and here's how you kind of set that up. I'll talk more about what it is, what it looks like in a second, but. First of all, do you guys have LinkedIn? Does anyone here have a LinkedIn? Is that a big thing here? Cool, so some of you guys. There's a lot of avenues. LinkedIn is a great one that you can kind of start this with. If you can have access to like a LinkedIn or your college alumni database is huge, or any like social media profile really. If you can have access to people who are in the industry that you want to be in, like for instance, I went through my LinkedIn, I went to the SCSU alumni page, and I was looking for like a writing job, okay? And I searched like writing, editing jobs. About 50 names showed up. And that can work for any industry really, you know, like accounting, construction, screenwriting, whatever it is. It's pretty specific. And you can kind of like search through them, and then you can find somebody that you want to talk to. So what you do is you send them an email, and you're like, hey, I'm Anthony. I saw you through the database. I'm not this creeper stalker guy, you know. I found you through like the alumni database, and I see that you've done this writing and this kind of thing, and I love to do that kind of stuff. I want to know how to get more in that industry. I would love to take you out to coffee for half an hour and ask you some questions about how to get in the industry, kind of meet you somewhere. Thanks a lot, Anthony. And it's going to work out because people like talking about themselves, you know. I mean, if you come to somebody and you're like, hey, you're really successful, you're awesome, I want to be like you, can I meet up with you? They're going to be like, yeah, you can meet up with me. I would love to meet up with you. So they're going to say yes probably, okay? So once you're there, it's not a hard setup. Once you're there, you're going to come with like a series of questions about what the job is like what's their day-to-day like. For instance, I was thinking about like if you wanted to be a screenwriter, because I thought about being a screenwriter one time, and I was thinking, you know, if I talk to somebody, I'd be like, what does a screenwriter do? What does your day-to-day look like? Is there entry-level jobs? Like, do they pay well at all? What would you recommend for a guy like me who's like wants to be a screenwriter who has no idea what to do? You know, those kind of questions, and they're going to talk to you. They're going to give you great answers because they're in the industry, and that'll be that. So after you're done. It's only like half an hour. It's not a job interview, just informational. If things clicked, a lot of great things are going to happen. So first of all, you're going to have information about the industry. Like if it's actually what you wanted to do, that's great. But then you can also realize like maybe it's not, and maybe you would hate doing that job. So you like know that now than just like cold call resumes. But more importantly, you'll have made a solid business connection in an industry that you want to be a part of. And if they hear about some jobs, you know, like screenwriting jobs per se, And there's a ton of those things that don't get published on Monster or Craigslist. They're just like pretty niche little community jobs, like little groups that no one really talks about. If the person that you met up with hears about that, they might say like, hey, you know what, I met up with this guy, John, he's awesome, he wants to be a screenwriter, you should talk to him. You get a reference, you know, and it kind of works both ways. And you cannot get that from like a resume, you know. It's just the power of actually meeting somebody in person, showing face to face, hey, I'm not a weirdo, I'm not, you know, some like guys are gonna slack off. I'm a witty, funny, kind of a good-looking guy who wants a job, you know. So you can't really get that from a resume. So all that to say, I think it's a far better way to apply for jobs and find a job than just cold calling and hoping for the best, you know. So thanks a lot. That was my presentation. Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot.